Okay, a few of you mentioned that on Friday the video didn't show the actual outline. So we're going to redo it quickly, but also I'll save this for later for future classes. But I want to walk you through what I mean by creating an outline. And I have worked really hard to set this up so that it is pretty seamless. So I'm going to hide myself, but you're going to see the screen. We're in the presentation portal. So that's where the resources are for this assignment. I've placed it intentionally before we get to the module to say, hey, we're switching gears. We kind of had a rhythm of learning material, being tested on material, applying the material. Now we're learning how to build a presentation. You were all asked to go into the topics and choose a topic. So under informative topic speech options, your informative speech topic options, you'll see it there. Then I have posted from the textbook for every single topic the actual sort of options for your main point. So I'm going to go into this one, tips for communicating well. Remember, you are presenting to an audience information. You're informing us. So I want you to imagine you're in front of maybe a group of middle schoolers and you're saying, okay, today we're going to talk about 3 ways you can communicate well or better on social media. So if you download this, you'll notice something really important, and that is it has 5, your textbook gives you 5 tips, okay? But I'm actually only going to have you choose 3. So you're going to pick 3 of those tips, and then you're going to take them and you're going to put them into your outline. So I'm going to actually pull up the other, a second window so that you can see. I'm going to go into my course real quick. All right. Let's see. Okay, if you go in to content and go down back to the presentation module or presentation portal, you'll see the informative outline. So you're going to download that. I'm going to click this little button here. I'm going to download it. I'm going to pull it up. So it is an overview, and I've got to fill in the blanks here for what I need to do. So I'm going to go back to my topics expanded. I'm going to look at my 5 options, and I'm going to ask myself, which of those do I really want to use? So I'm going to come over here. I think thinking is really helpful. So I'm going to choose that one. I'm going to go into my outline, and I'm going to say, okay, I know for sure that my first main point is going to be, have to enable editing so I can type, so if it blocks you, think before you post, right? Then I'm going to go into back, then I'm going to choose adapt to the audience, right? So think adapt to the audience. What you're going to notice here is the first word of each main point is an action verb. Think, adapt. That's what we call parallel language. So, and then I'm going to highlight this last one. We'll keep it simple. Keep your cool. So I'm going to highlight that one, go into my outline, and now I have keep your cool. So notice I've got 3 words that are going to kind of anchor my 3 main points. Think, adapt, keep. Remember here, I'm going to have some sort of an attention getter. And this could be, quote, a statistic, anecdote, which is a short story, right? I might have a joke. I might use humor, but I'm going to get your attention. And then I need something that says this matters. So we're talking about communicating well on social media. So I might add a statistic like, did you know 40% of people ended a relationship based on politics on social media, or every day, and I'm going to have to find this statistic, but blank billions of posts are read all over the world. I'm just saying, again, this topic matters. Then, in my ethos, my credibility, this is my why. I chose this topic because this means a lot to me. I've been hurt by social media. I want to learn to get better. And then I'm going to transition to, I want to share with you. Today, I want to share 3 tips on communicating well on social media. First, we'll talk about thinking before we post. Then next we'll talk about adapting to our audience. Finally, we'll talk about keeping it cool. What I want you to see is, once you have your thesis statement, you can take that and make that each of your main points. Adapt to the audience. Keep your cool. Also, you're going to see this transition spot where I'm saying, okay, now that we've talked about the first tip, let's move on to our second one. And that you could put for all of them. Then I'm going to copy this. We're going to paste it again right here. I'm just putting all my pieces in the puzzle, right? So now that we've talked about 2 tips, let's move on to our last one. Then when I get into this, right, I want to have research. Maybe an expert quote that says how important it is to think before you post. Or a social psychologist that talks about how people don't really think, or there's a low barrier. I might, I want you to think of 2 R's under each of your main points. Lead with research, then relate. So could you create a metaphor to explain? Or do you have a personal example that you could share with us, or some kind of a story there? Same thing. I want to do this with my next one. I'm going to adapt to the audience. First, I'm going to research, right? I'm going to talk about in communication. It's so important to adapt to your audience. Our textbook talks about adapting to your audience. According to the textbook, according to this communication article, then I want to go to relate. I love the idea of a target, right? Trying to hit a target. So maybe you have a picture on your PowerPoint of a dartboard. You're like, I'm trying to focus on how do I get this message to really target my audience effectively? This is your sort of explanation section. This is, again, do you have a quote, a statistic, good research that supports it's important to keep your cool when posting on social media, or that it is better for your relationships if you can keep your cool on social media. So this is how you're putting together your conclusion. Remember, your review of main points is just restating your thesis. I want you to think through what's honestly one thing. If you don't remember anything else, what should they remember? And do you have a good creative thought, what I would call a sticky statement, right? So if I was using the acronym think, adapt, keep, I would go, okay, I want to leave you with the TAC, right? Always, always, always think, adapt, keep, and then leave us with let's make social media a better space for everyone, right? So that would be a final outline that you would turn in. Your rough draft outline is where you are going in and writing down everything you want to say, but you're keeping this structure there. So in here, you are literally, in a rough draft, you would write the entire quote, according to this person, blank. And then following up where you kind of explain it or you elaborate on it. A final outline is going to look like this, where it is keywords, phrases, limited text, structured really well. So I hope this is helpful in the process as you're putting together your outlines. I'm sorry the other one didn't work, but hopefully you can see this. It will help. And then your job then is to take this, create a PowerPoint, and then deliver your presentation, record it with your PowerPoint, and talk about 3 things. I want to go back and look before, as we wrap up, I want to show you, we'll go back into those topics expanded, but it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's reasons you don't have to be a perfect friend, 3 questions you should ask before disclosing, 3 misconceptions about communication, 3 ways to limit social media distractions, 3 things to remember about learning about other cultures. Again, that's anchoring your talk. You're delivering a 3 to 5 minute message where you're teaching us these things. You're giving us 3 things, 3 tips, 3 ways, 3 questions, 3 strategies. Those lists will have, some of them will have more than 3, but you'll want to go in and just choose the 3 you want to keep, create your outline, then work on your presentation and create a PowerPoint that will aid your presentation. All right, thanks for getting to the end of this and for being patient. I'm going to post this. I hope it's helpful.